Hey guys, welcome back for some Christmas decor DIYs. I am so excited to share this video with you. By the time that I'm filming the intro, I've already completed 4 Christmas decor DIYs successfully, and I am so pumped about how they turned out. I'm so excited to share these ideas with you. We're gonna start off strong by duping the Pottery Barn Gingerbread House cookie jar that has gone viral every year for the past few years. It always sells out and it has such a high price point at $70 retail in store. And I was able to successfully dupe it for less than $10. So I am so excited to share that. It's still dishwasher safe, still food safe, and I'm just beyond excited with how that project turned out. I also have a couple of projects where I'm essentially like reimagining decor that I already have, so just sprucing it up to have it fit my current style and using materials that are already within my decor collection or around the house that I feel like are staples for everyone. And those projects took me less than 5 minutes each, so anyone can do it. Even if you're not a DIY girly, I promise you can do these. I'm just so excited to share them with you, show you how they turned out, and just hopefully inspire you to try to reimagine some of your decor or DIY this holiday season. But anyway, if you are excited for today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and let's just get into this first DIY. We're starting out these DIYs heading to the local thrift store because I had watched too many TikToks of people duping the brand new Pottery Barn Gingerbread Village with a spray paint and light up thrifted Christmas houses, and I wanted to do that. But when I got to the seasonal section, there were no light up houses. That's not true. There were 2 of them. This one that I'm showing you now, I'm pretty sure that this originally came from Michael's or Hobby Lobby for like $3. It was previously painted. It did light up, although there weren't batteries, so I couldn't tell if it worked or not, and I could not find a mate or a set for it. And then this was the only other house, and it was very broken and didn't light up. So that was not going to work, but then I thought, how about I try to dupe the gingerbread cookie jar? And so I went to the kitchenware section and was shocked that this was just there waiting for me. It could not have worked out more perfect, and it was only $4.99. So I checked it to make sure that there was no damage, no chips or anything like that, and it was in perfect condition, except that whoever donated it hadn't washed it previously, so it did have some staining and food particles on it. We'll take care of that in a second. But after I had secured the cookie jar, we're gonna head to the craft store, and I was on a mission to find the ceramic enamel paints that will keep this food safe and dishwasher safe. So once I found that aisle and that section, I picked out a dark chocolate color and a milk chocolate that I didn't take a clip of for some reason, this natural buff color, and also white. And I'm going to be using all of these to create the gingerbread color and the icing. But before I start painting anything, it was really important to prep properly for this type of paint. So I had to not only clean the cookie jar really well, but wipe it down with alcohol. The paint itself specifically says to thoroughly clean the surface with alcohol. So a water and vinegar mixture or a water and dish soap mixture is not going to work. It has to be thoroughly cleaned and stripped with this alcohol. I'm sure that there is some kind of method to the madness or reason for it. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I was not going to risk not doing it and having the paint chip or not have this last in the dishwasher or something. So I'm just following the instructions here, and I am protecting my hands with gloves because alcohol dries my skin out so bad. But once I had that all cleaned up, I'm just going to mix up some paint colors. I'm putting a little bit of each of those colors on a paper plate and mixing until I found the perfect spiced gingerbread color. Some gingerbreads can be very orangey, but in all of the inspiration photos of the Pottery Barn one, it looks to be a spiced gingerbread, very dark. So I wanted to make sure that I captured that color perfectly, and keeping in mind also that when mixing wet paint, it is going to look lighter, but when it dries, it looks darker. You'll see here when I show you all of the paint dry. But once I got the perfect color, I just started painting it on in very thin layers, and I wasn't being too careful about this because I wanted it to look hand painted. I noticed when I was looking at some more high-end ceramic pieces like the Pottery Barn gingerbread cookie jar and some other competing cookie jars, they all note that they are hand painted, and so I'm sure that goes into not only the look of the piece but also the price of the piece, and I wanted this to look high-end and expensive. And I do think that I was able to achieve that look. This is what the gingerbread portion looked like after 4 coats of paint fully dry, so now it's time for the icing details. And to get my icing color, I mixed in a little bit of that natural buff with the white to get a warmer, creamy white icing type of look. However, I do think that the Pottery Barn one is a bright, stark white, and a lot of other gingerbread houses are as well, so you could absolutely skip the natural buff color and just leave it that white. But I'm going to be painting this onto all of the outline portion, high points, and details of the cookie jar. I did want to try to leave it minimal, which is what the Pottery Barn one has going for it. It's very minimal in comparison to the icing job on competitors, but this was a very detailed cookie jar, so that proved to be harder than I thought it was going to be. But this is how it turned out with all of the icing details and the paint all dried and cured in the oven. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm so proud of this. I feel like I'm going to keep it for the rest of my life. I think it's so gorgeous, and I can't wait to show you how I styled it in an upcoming Christmas decorating video. But for now, we're going to move on to the second DIY, and for this one we are heading to Hobby Lobby. I feel like storage books are currently trending, and I wanted to create some custom ones to incorporate into my Christmas decor. I did find 3 different sizes of these in the Christmas section, so they were 50% off at Hobby Lobby. They do stock these year-round though in the paper mache section. They just weren't as large, and the price was comparable, so I thought getting the larger ones for the same price is just what made sense. They also closed a lot better. The paper mache ones had gaps, so just letting you know, you can find them in the paper mache section, but if your Hobby Lobby has these holiday ones, then I would pick these up. You're not going to see the covers anyway, because we're going to be covering them with paper napkins. I'm just showing you a little display at my local Home Goods of some current Christmas paper napkins that are out there and available. They have these beautiful nutcracker ones. This is very Anthropology to me, as is this like multicolored string light. And then Hello Kitty is trending right now, and so I found some Hello Kitty patterned ones if you are a Hello Kitty whimsical girly like that. But I'm actually going to be using some neutral ones that are left over from my fall decorating and adhering them with Mod Podge. This is a very quick and easy DIY. Anyone can do it. You just put some Mod Podge on the cover and then wipe it across to cover the entire surface area with a foam paintbrush and then smooth over the napkin. I did open the napkin all of the way instead of leaving it folded up, and then I'm just smoothing it as I go instead of just laying it down, and making sure that I'm opening the book so that it's getting into those creases in there so that it will dry properly and that it will actually function the way that it's intended to. I was shocked that it only took me 3 napkins to cover these 2 largish books. I got the small and the medium size that was available at Hobby Lobby, and the small size is a decent size, but 1 napkin completely covered it, which was so cool. It made this a very inexpensive DIY for me. And then that medium sized one, or the larger of the 2 that I had picked out, it took 2 napkins to completely cover that. So there will be a seam, but a really good way to hide that is to make sure that the seam is going to end up on the portion that sits on the table, not the lid portion that opens up. Or you could also just line up the pattern, which is kind of what I did because I wasn't thinking and I ended up having the seam on the lid portion, of course. But don't make the same mistake that I did. Plan this out a little bit better and make sure that your seam is going to be on the bottom portion and you won't even have to worry about it. You may also notice that these books look a little different. There's not the Christmas pattern on them anymore, and that's just because I painted over them with 1 layer of a light gray chalk paint that I already had on hand because there were large white blocks in the pattern of the napkin that I was using, and I didn't want to risk that Christmas pattern showing through. So if you have a light colored napkin or large transparent areas, then I would suggest that you go ahead and use some chalk paint or even acrylic paint if that's what you've got, anything that you already have in your home, and paint on a layer first. But this is how the book stack came out. I love them. I think they're neutral enough to use year round, but I plan to use them in my Christmas decor to like hide remotes and keys on an entryway table, things like that. But now we're going to move on, and I found these flocked greenery picks with pine cone and red berry details that I had found on clearance 3 years ago after Christmas at Target, and I wasn't going to be using them for anything this year, so I thought I'd pair them with this bell pick that I found at Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99, but everything there is 50% off for Christmas, so it's $3 each. And then also this red bow that I had from my Christmas decor last year, and I wanted to weave these all together to create a custom swag for over my kitchen window. So I just started by weaving together the flocked greenery pick and the bell pick, and I wanted the bells to kind of cascade down through that, so I'm just weaving those all throughout and fluffing the greenery at the same time to make sure that I'm hiding all of those brown stems and any kind of seams, I guess you would say, to make it look like it's all one piece instead of two picks put together. So I'm just fluffing all of the branches, the pine cones, the berries, things like that. And once I had it looking how I wanted, I made a second one, and then I'm just going to secure them together by crisscrossing their stems and zip tying them. I did use 2 zip ties, and I already had these from the Dollar Tree. I always keep these on hand and use them for everything, and the best part about securing this with zip ties instead of something like hot glue or super glue or anything that's more permanent is that if my decor taste ever changes or I want to reuse these in a different way, it would be super easy to take apart and still have everything intact to be reimagined in a different way for years to come. But once I had those zip ties on, then I'm just going to secure the bow with the wire that it came with right in the center of it, and then just fluff up that bow because I had crushed it quite a bit when I was tying it on, and just get it looking like I want it. And I love the way that this turned out. It's so beautiful. It looks like it could be in the Kirkland's website or in stores. It looks very high end, and it cost me less than $10 to make this. It would look gorgeous on a mantelpiece, but I am going to use mine in my kitchen window in my kitchen decorating video that I've already filmed and I can't wait to share. But now we're moving on, reusing this Kirkland's Christmas tree that I found on clearance 2 years ago for $4, and then also this green yarn that I used in a fall DIY video this fall, and some twinkle lights from Target for $5 that I have had for quite a few years. And I just wanted to reimagine this tree because it isn't quite my style anymore, and I wanted to just do something a little bit different with it. So I decided to just wrap the entire frame of the Christmas tree in this green yarn to create a little more texture and visual interest and have that pop of green natural tree in my decor for this year. I love the way that this turned out, but I do acknowledge that you might not all have these Kirkland's Christmas trees that are like the perfect metal frame. So you could absolutely do the same thing with a ceramic Christmas tree and double-sided tape to make sure that you could dismantle it if you wanted to, or you could also use just a foam or styrofoam tree mold that you can get at any craft store or even the Dollar Tree. But once all of the yarn was on, then I'm just going to wrap it with those twinkle lights, and it went up and down a full time, so I had lights throughout the entire thing. And I'm just going to hide the battery pack underneath of the tree since it is hollow and it'll be easy to secure that way. But this is how it turned out. I love it. I love the texture of the yarn, and also the color. I feel like it's very lifelike and looks like a real Christmas tree. It's so beautiful and cozy and can be used in so many ways for Christmas styling. Okay, but seriously, now that you have seen how those projects turned out, aren't they so good? I'm so proud of them. I'm so excited to use them in my decor this year, and I've actually already started on my decorating, and I will be rapidly uploading some Christmas decorating videos over the next couple of weeks. So if you aren't already, I would love for you to subscribe, join my little YouTube family, and hit your notification bell so that you're notified of all of these really fun Christmas decorating videos that I've got coming up for you. I feel like my home looks and feels different than it has any other year that I've been on YouTube. We've had so many renovations go on this year and so many room makeovers and space makeovers. There's been new furniture, different arrangements. It's a whole different vibe, and I'm really embracing it and challenging myself to come up with brand new ideas to share with you, and I'm loving what has been happening so far, and I hope that you guys are gonna love it too. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's video and that it gave you a ton of ideas and inspiration for how you can incorporate DIYs into your own decor this year, and maybe attempt to refresh some of the existing decor that you might have. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here with me today, and I'll see you all in the next one.